What's good, people? It's your boy, Icarus Gray. And this is Gray Area Anime. And we are back with another one. That's what I meant to do.
I was gonna say, it's not that one.
Not do a re-zero noise. I meant to do the... Could have just switched over here to this. As I realize... Things you realize podcasting.
It's been a while, folks.
It's been a little while. But we're back. That voice you hear in the background, as always, is the executive producer. And then you introduce yourself.
You always say at Prima Diva, and then I say hello. It's only been only recently
you didn't introduce yourself
that you've been like, introduce yourself, do your own work, and I'm like, what?
Okay, I'm gonna bring the music back up and let's try that again, and you're gonna do it right this time.
Do the rewind.
You happy now? And as always, the executive producer
At Prima Diva is back in the building, guys, and better than ever. So excited to be here with you for this wonderful new year. Oh yeah.
And we have a guest because we're back with some more Teach Me Senpai. So you know who's in the building for the breakdown of Ascendance of a Bookworm. And that's the Bookworm herself. Go ahead.
Hello, it's me, BibleStudyGirl. I'm back. back. Wiki. Are you ready for me to rap?
I was gonna say, look, it's the crossover episode,
yes,
guys. It's the rap battle between Bible Study Girl on Gray Area. Okay, we're not doing that now. Okay,
all right.
So we're back.
I was ready.
I can tell
we
you.
are back. I will mute you both. I will mute you both.
He is.
Okay. It's his
we're
show,
back,
though.
Guys. Gosh.
And
we've been watching. And we're not just back with one episode. We watched two.
Because it's so good, guys.
It is.
It's good, and we're behind anyway, so we're like trying to get our lives together.
It keeps saying to be continued, so you have to keep watching.
Exactly.
You do. You do.
They do that so well.
And you don't want to like have to rewatch because that's typically the issue with when we take time off because we all want to watch. And then it's like, but if I watch, then I have to rewatch anyway.
I'm okay with the
refresh.
rewatch. There are few series that you can be like, I'll rewatch it and actually enjoy it as much as you did the first time. Now, this one, I have to say, I enjoy every time I watch it.
Okay, good point.
Yeah.
So
I think we gain new insight too if we do a rewatch.
You see things you didn't see before.
All right, if you're opening the floodgates.
No, I'm not. No. We did it perfectly today.
Okay.
Yes.
Today was perfect.
It's just a matter of appreciating where we've been.
So give them BSG the breakdown of the two titles of episode 12 and 13. Yes.
Episode 12 is Baptisms and Divine Paradises, and then 13 is the choice to be an apprentice priestess. Ooh.
So last time you heard us, we were all very adamant by the weirdness of the options that were placed before mine. It was basically concubine or death.
Right.
And I mean, I think what's interesting about this, they didn't really. I think it's because the only option we saw in terms of a contract with the noble was concubine.
Correct.
That was literally the only thing that we were given information about. I don't know if there are any like aside from the live-in apprenticeship, which I'm sure we could talk about later, but I don't know if there was any other options.
No other options were presented to her except for get with these old guys.
Were also given. It was also given to us by Freda. So
that's what Freda's doing. She's trying to do her
thing. That also took our thought process is like
we trusted the narrator.
Yeah.
And they're making a lot of adult decisions. So the thought that they would broker a deal with the noble to become a concubine at later points.
Speaking of adult decisions, this is the perfect transition to how let's talk to his mama at the beginning of episode 12.
It
is.
Because these kids are not kids.
They're
like,
7 in the world.
They're 7 in size, but they're like
21.
They 21 at least.
I would say 21.
I'd even give them 19. Just like on the cusp.
No, it's like they can drink.
Well, no, it's 21. You're right.
Yeah, like they are
official citizens.
You are correct. I forgot about
they are
that.
like 21.
Yeah.
And they're having their...
I mean, if you can work, you can drink. That I feel like if you can have a
21st
legitimate
birthday,
job.
their quinceañera, their
At the same.
bat mitzvah, their whatever you're coming of age.
I guess bat mitzvah works. That's for the girls.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it's
again,
good. Yeah.
you know.
I was giving you props.
Nah, you're literally like, well, no, I think it... Wait.
Exactly.
Actually.
He was onto something.
Yeah.
So what is Lutz telling his mom?
I'm going to be a merchant. I'm not going to be a craftsman. She was like, listen, boy, you going to be a craftsman. No, mama, I'm not. Why do you hate being a craftsman so much? Because that leaves nothing for me. There was no legacy. There was nothing that I control, he says.
He can't build anything. He can't add anything with that. But I think
my brothers will take everything.
I think that part was really mature, but I think the other part that was mature, well, that was kind of immature, I think, under most circumstances, is that he kind of presented an ultimatum. Like, either you going to support me or I'm just going to become a living apprentice. Like, either way it go, this is what I want to do with my life. Yeah. And it was kind of like, oh my goodness. This man he has a plan. I think that was the difference. In an attic. Yeah, I mean, like the fact, it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna run away from home because I want to do what I want. No, he had a plan. Yep. He had already prepared. This is something he wasn't just flying by night to do. He wanted this very much. Yeah, that was super mature.
Oh, 100%. And it's so interesting the way this series, and it's anime because you forget they're kids. Yeah. Like if you weren't looking at the character models and like somehow we all spoke and listened to Japanese and we're not looking at the screen and could do so without subtitles,
one day
it would be like, man, what are these adults over here talking about? You got a really light voice, but they are talking some realness here.
Yeah, they're adults in their speech.
And so he tells her, what he's gonna do, and we're also now faced with the fact that Mine has basically made the decision, I'm just going to die.
She decided not to accept the apprenticeship with Benno because she can't physically, one, because she couldn't physically meet the demands, but also because her items were worth so much, according to Otto, that the people that had been working there for so long would resent her because it's like, oh, she just got here and she making all this money.
And she doesn't have to work as much as the other people.
At all.
And they'd be like, yo, fam, like this is not cool. I've been here 12 years and this child is getting more money than me.
Right.
Not working as much as me.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What is this? So she made the smart decision of not doing the apprenticeship. Mm-hmm. She's pretty much kind of like explaining to all her friends, and well, I say friends, she's explaining to Frida that, I'd rather just die, bruh. Like, if these is my only option, I'd
rather be with my family than to be,
than to keep
because
grieving.
Frida's pushing the noble. Well, you can be with the noble.
She wants her to live.
Yeah,
like,
she wants her to
by
live.
any means necessary, which is a through line for like both episodes.
Well, let me tell you something. She wants her to live, but she still is a shrewd businesswoman.
Well, see,
I think that's
thing,
what. So is. Well, you might.
But I think the comment that she was making on it, because she basically starts setting up things to get as much money as she can for her family.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so one of those things is, because after she tells Frida that she's going to die, she says that I'll sell you or lease you, basically.
Or
I will lease.
She asked, can I buy the pound cake recipe
from you to help you out? But then instead of selling it to her, she leased it to her for a year. Mm-hmm. With the stipulation that in a year,
little business girls,
if she's still alive, she would release that public to everyone so everyone can have these sweet treats. To which her response then, which I know can come off true, but I think it's also the writing of,
I thought it was really good,
them basically saying, I don't want you to die. I was like, well, if you don't want me to do it, then you better not die.
I love that. I mean, it's the same thing you see with Benno later.
Yeah, and it's just like this thing where they've all started to become invested in mine. Mm-hmm. And so we go from there to now we're getting prepared for the baptism. Their baptism day has finally arrived. He's here.
I'm gonna tell you that ceremony did not disappoint. That's me personally.
At all.
Oh no. I don't know what I expected.
Because before we just see the children march into the church. That's all we see.
If they had shown Turi do this, I don't know if it
wouldn't have had the same impact.
But that's the nature of the entire show.
Because all she would have done,
it was the build up,
is
that we experience things with mine.
Right.
We're experiencing as mine experiences them. And I think that's what makes the show very effective.
And that's where we get our lens for the world.
Yes,
strictly from her eyes. And so that's why we learn
Yes.
That the world is much bigger.
It's huge.
And
we
broader. Yes, and we feel like it is.
But we get it from her eyes and also the fourth wall eyes of we just be like, well, why don't they just do this? Why don't they just do this? And then in like 5 seconds later, mine is like, why don't you just do this? Because she's the modern eye.
Exactly.
She's the modern. And the modern things we think of like, that don't make no sense. Y'all could just do this.
Yeah.
Like cut out the middleman. Why do you not do this?
Right.
Why is this not more like y'all here? Like why is
money making ideas? Like she just does. I'm like,
but it's not even. She just breathes standard living for her.
Yeah.
Like for everybody, like for them, this is revolutionary money making ideas because y'all just been doing stuff in this
the same way,
ancient Stone Age way. So anyway, so there's a sweet moment with her family where dad is saying the exact same thing he said when Turi was about to get baptized, which mine calls him out on. He's like, well, my daughters are the cutest in the world.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else that I could say but this. They make it to the baptism. And they start with getting their blood drawn, and then there's these little.
Oh, I thought you were gonna mention the ornament thing, like when she's walking in.
So she has a new ornament.
We know she's not walking. You know, all the other kids are walking. Daddy is carrying her.
Yes.
To the church.
So Benno and Otto and his wife, Benno's sister, are all on the side like, way to go, Mine. We are rooting for you. Good luck at everything. And as she passes, Mine has this beautiful like hair ornament with 3 flowers.
Ornament. It's a hanging ornament.
It's a hanging ornament with 3 flowers.
Yeah, hanging ornaments.
And it still have some additional like ribbons going down. Now, we have not seen this ornament before at all in the show. Okay, every ornament she's made has been different. And
it's just been a flower. They've just been central pieces, not
right, and they've been for specific people.
Yeah.
So she's being carried in, and as she passes, Benno's like smiles, and then he immediately changes. Like, is that a new one? What is this? And it's just a wonderful moment.
It's funny because she like this is just normal, so it was just something, and it was a sweet moment because you also have to think the 2 things that are also in play here are the commoners and noble thinking.
Yes.
So the common thought was Turi just made that because this is a gift and they created something new. Whereas Benno, noble, that's money.
Yes. Money. What are we doing?
Like
why are you missing this?
Like what are we doing?
Right.
Because there is such a class divide in this world.
Can I say she also had a lovely off-the-shoulder baptism gown?
She did.
It was quite unlike any other girl's dress.
All she needed to do was paint them clogs.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Because
she
of her
looked
mom.
really
I had
good.
to think about that.
Yeah,
and I think
mom.
that's something that's going to come back later.
I think
it has to because they underplay
talented.
her mom in a certain way. But I'm sure that's a story point for later. Because her mom made that, I'm positive.
Yeah,
no, she did.
She was telling her, "You've grown since I."
Yeah. So now the skirt finally fixed. She literally had to have planned that this was the dress she was going to make for her daughter.
Yeah.
Well in advance.
Right.
Of course. And so they got a little industry in their own home.
They really do. She comes from a very talented family.
She does.
I mean, short of the dad who, is at the mercy of
he's the cop. I mean, he's the
the
head of those guys.
I forgot he was the head. I was gonna say I think he's just a soldier, but you're right.
He's the head.
So he's detective numero uno.
Sure, I can. I can tell where you're going with that because of your own addictions right now. But anyway.
Oh wow!
So
just out me.
You outed yourself.
Anyways.
But anyway.
They get in there.
And after they've drawn their blood, we meet the guy that we see in the first episode who we have been trying to figure out.
Yeah.
No, he didn't put the thing on her head.
Okay, maybe.
Oh, yes. In the first episode, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But you did that out of, I'm like, no.
I was just flashbacking, my bad. In this particular episode, what he does when she walks up is he's registering each of the children by pricking their fingers for blood and putting them on, what are they called?
I don't know. Medallions.
Yeah,
medallions. They call them medallions.
Silver medallions. That's what it looked like. I don't know. It might have been
glass. It doesn't matter. Let's get to the good part.
Yes.
So after this, they're like, all right, now we're going to teach you guys how to pray.
And
so
worship.
They give you the lore of the entire,
they did give you the lore. So it's
religion, which is really
it's
really
very,
interesting. It's very pretty.
It's very Greek mythology.
Yeah, it kind of is.
In that way. it's just Greek mythology-esque. Just because even the...
Can we talk about how her face lit up when the priest
I was
comes
just gonna
out?
say, and then the
Before,
book.
with the book.
the royal
was so
book.
pretty.
Yeah.
It had gems in it and
Yeah,
calligraphy
it's
of
gorgeous.
some
And
sort.
she's
Like,
like,
ooh.
all the other kids are just sitting there, and she's like,
I think Lutz went to sleep.
when she is freaking out.
She
Oh, yeah, I think he did. Because
Yeah,
this is like an all day.
It's all the other kids are like, wah, wah. She's like,
Yes.
it's a book.
She's so excited.
But it's the first book that she's seen, or second
that's
book.
that pretty.
The
It's
second
gorgeous.
book, but yeah, the first book that she's seen that was that gorgeous,
Yeah,
and
she
that
was like,
accessible too,
"Ew."
because she didn't think.
And it was Lutz's first time seeing a book.
Yes, it was. He's like, oh, that's a book. That doesn't look
He
anything
didn't see
like.
it when they went to the. Oh, I guess Lutz wasn't with them
No.
when they went
No.
to. Yeah, okay.
But he sees it. And he's like, that doesn't look anything like what we've been making.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I thought we
Like,
were
that's,
making. Yeah, that's
Like,
not what we're
no,
making.
that's
Not what we're making.
that's
What
not
are we
what
doing
we're
here?
And so
Weird.
then she's sitting there listening to the story like,
Yep, she's
the
listening.
Lord.
Amazing.
And after they do that, after they do the reading, now it's time to
Worship.
she
No
said,
worship,
learn how to
man.
worship.
Boy,
And so
they lift
she's
them.
looking, and they do like a Karate Kid crane
Yes.
Yes,
style.
They do
arms
that.
straight up, then,
Arms straight
then
up.
leg up,
leg
in
up,
the 90-degree angle.
and then they kowtow, which is like bowing down at the lowest point, something that is done in Japanese culture as the most highest form of like groveling or apologizing is kowtowing. And she cannot stop laughing.
She's like,
She's
what are they doing?
Hysterical. Of course, the other children are just copying what the priests up front are doing. And so when you look at mine, it
She can't
reminds
get her
me
legs
of-
off the
Yeah,
ground.
it reminds
She's just
me
laughing too
of a
hard.
modern day service for us. Like, she's slain in the spirit, they think. And
They
she's
think.
like, no, this is hilarious.
I can't
Like,
Or
contain
even
myself.
it's culture shock-esque in the sense of like when you see somebody do something from a different culture and you like, what are you doing?
right.
Yes, because they all seem very Dutch or something like
Right.
that. They
It's
do
basically
not
going
seem
like from
Japanese.
Baptist to Kojic to Pentecostal to
Yes.
Right.
then going to
and you've never been to
Catholic,
any of these places
and you're like,
before.
whoa. Or best example, it is prime time for going to a Baptist church, such as I've gone to going to a non-denominational church and realizing, oh my God, all right,
They do things differently.
y'all
They do
do it
things
all
differently.
things differently.
Yeah.
There's a
Way
There's
a
a
lot
lot
of
of difference.
moving pieces here. Oh, there's somebody passed out over
Yeah.
there.
Yes. Yes.
The tongue
That is-
speaking. I don't understand what you're saying, but there
Yeah.
you are.
God, dude.
That is definitely what it's
wow.
So, but her experiences was funny
Yes.
They were hilarious. They like
because they're serious.
yeah, they thought she was slain in the spirit. So what do?
They take
her to the
They
back.
take it to the back.
They take her to the back.
And what's
And,
funny
Because
is
Lex
Lex
is like, she's just
leg up and arms up. Like, what's wrong with you? He's like hopping on one leg. What's wrong? She's passed out. Help her.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. It's so funny.
Oh, bring the ushers.
Yes.
Yes,
So the
get
ushers-
the blanket, cover
Yeah.
up.
They
So she
usher
lays
her.
down and they take her to a
They take
really
her
nice
some really
bedroom.
nice room,
Really
and
nice
so
bedroom.
she's sitting there, and of course, it's mine. So now you know she needs to get back
Because she doesn't want to miss the rest of the ceremony.
to the ceremony.
Which I
But
just realized we didn't get to go back to.
No, we didn't because she
She-
never
she
went
didn't,
back.
yeah.
See it.
she's walking, and she sees probably like a priestess or somebody.
Yeah, she's an
she's a
apprentice.
gray robe.
Yeah.
And she goes into the room. She's like, hey, can you help me find my way back?
Yeah.
And she's like, sure, just come in here for a second. I need to set this down or whatever she said. And what she walks into was the Holy Grail that she has been searching for.
Indeed.
The library of this world.
Yes, it is a library.
Not music.
It's
that
amazing.
again.
She's so excited. And then she tries to walk in there.
And there's a magic
Boom.
barrier.
There's a barrier, gosh
And
darn
she's
it.
like,
She's
hey,
so close.
hey, let me
Let
in
me
there.
in.
And she was like,
I
you can't come in here unless you're a priestess. All right, well, I want to do that.
How do I do that?
How do I do that?
Where do I
Tell
sign
me
up?
right
Show me right now.
Tell me how to do this.
So she takes her to the head, not the head priest, the high priest.
The high priest.
The
yeah,
one
yeah.
that looks like a
Santa
very
Claus.
I think he looks
or
like the
Zeus.
old versions of what people used to draw God as.
I
That's how
just say
think
Zeus.
about
I'm not even going to do that. Just say Zeus.
it. Zeus works.
I use the fictional characters for their fictional purposes. So anyway, He's sitting there and he's like, yo, you're not getting in here. Unless, you make a donation. Because of how she's dressed, they presume
she's a noble.
She's a noble.
Shiny hair. Fantastic hair bauble. This off the shoulder baptismal dress.
Girl is looking great because that's why she assumes that they took her to this very nice room too. She's like, oh, they must think I'm a noble,
right?
So she thinks about it in her mind.
And he says, well, if you make a donation, you could do this. She's like, okay, well, and as always, we don't have a grasp on a money system
because it's so
neither does she.
Extreme.
And what I mean is she goes, one large gold coin. Huh?
What? This man like chokes on his drink. Like what? You want to do what?
Yeah, that's all the free money
that I'm allowed
to give.
Right.
Do you have permission from your parents? I mean, literally, the way he went to the next thing so quick, like, you know what?
You need to have your parents sign.
And then he said, if they have any problems, you come to me.
Yes.
To which the biggest gain that she got though was he also told her, you're free to come in and read the scriptures anytime you want.
Yeah.
Right.
And
until you become an apprentice and can get into
the library.
Yeah.
And which they don't. I'm pretty sure they didn't even call it a library because that's not their understanding of what that is.
Well, he said library.
Yeah, he did.
He repeated it.
He did.
Okay. So they go home. She goes home, and I'm thinking, all right, this is gonna be the next start to.
No. She tries to do. First of all, let me just say. She did the praise the Lord thing.
Oh,
praise to the gods thing.
As soon as he said that,
she did the praise to the gods.
The library. She goes.
No. Yes, that's what it was.
And then when she's in the meeting with him, and he says, "Yeah, just get your parents to agree." She's like, "All right, praise the." Oh no, and she falls out. Let's
for real this
out,
time.
and it's like, "What did you do?" He is ready to go off on her. You did what? You just said you want to be an apprentice.
And it's like, and you did what?
Why would you do that?
And he's like, all right, well, now we have somewhere to go. Well, no, we don't. That's the second episode.
Yeah, no,
she has to get home and talk to him first.
I'm taking you home. So she goes home and has to figure out a way to break the news to her parents.
And so she goes to talk to him, and it's one of those things where it's like they don't show her dad's face immediately, and she says those things, and he jumps and he says, say that again.
I dare you.
And so she's like, okay, I said I want to be an apprentice.
That's for orphans, daughter.
Yes, and I'm not.
I feel like what he wanted to be like, that's for orphans, bitch, is what he looked like. I swear that is what.
Honestly, I thought he was going to say that's for prostitutes. Like the look on his face was, I was like,
it does make me feel
like, is there like some secret, like are the priestesses?
But the way that they prioritize citizenship and stuff in this world, like it makes sense that he would be so offended and so upset. It's like you trying to say that I can't take care of you. Right. You're gonna go and let them, like treat you like an orphan or like you ain't worth nothing, and you
like you got a family, like you come from a family, you know who your family are.
We take care of you, like we're not gonna let them abuse you
because
and overwork you.
Not knowing a lot of things that we'll find out in the second episode.
Yes,
also play a part of it, but it's also again that commoner noble divide because lack of information in everything causes dissension and basically incorrect opinions.
But to that point though, what you said about the noble commoner divide, for them to react that way when she said one large gold, even if they knew she was a commoner, you know what I'm saying? Or even if she was a noble, for them to react like that must have been like, whoa, what? Like they really were not expecting even a noble to give that much money.
But I think also when we go to the second episode,
it kind of sheds a little light on it.
The history, we understand why that is so like. Look,
bless us like that?
And who? Okay, did you talk to your mommy, daddy?
Yes,
come back, because yes,
we want you.
Yeah,
we want you.
And also the other thing you have to think. And I guess we'll get to it. So then I'll come back to that point. I'll pin mark it. So, she's like, oh, well, I guess I've done something bad. I won't do that.
And it's such a sad moment because it's like, one of the things that he points out is that if you do this, you're going to be cut off from us. And she was like, "Whoa, I didn't know that was a thing.
Well,
I can't come see you anymore."
She doesn't understand. Nobody's explaining this to her.
Books.
Like she doesn't know.
She didn't even know apprenticeship as a princess or whatever was even an option.
Yeah, she was just like, okay.
But also the other thing that's weird and funny about this world is they're so used to their short-sighted ways of doing things. In the sense that because she was only I just mean it's simple in the sense that because I want to make books, I only thought about the process of making books and the people I would need in the process of making books. Therefore, that's all they thought about. Because when we get to the second episode, which we'll get into now, because I think that was the end of the first episode, right?
She got the fever because she
got the fever, then she had to go lay down,
and then she had to go lay down. And that was the end of the.
And then she was going to go back the next day to kind of figure out how to work it out.
And figure out how to weasel out of this.
That's why we had to get to episode 2, entitled One More Time for Me.
The choice. Hold on.
I think
choice to be an apprentice priestess.
Yeah. And so when that happened, the second episode starts with her preparing to go back. I think she has to tell Lutz. Yeah, Lutz at this point, he's going with her or went with her. She goes in to... No, she does this first. She goes in to read the scriptures.
Yes, because the priest told her, anytime you want to come and read the next day, that's what
she was doing.
Come on.
So the head priest was there, the one that took her blood initially, and when it glowed, side-eyed her. Because when you say that, but he totally side-eyed her before the beginning of the ceremony. They also have the same color eyes, which is another thing. They do, interestingly.
And so he says, all right, I'm going to read to you. And she's like, I want to read.
Please, let me read it myself.
And he's like, well, as long as you don't touch the book.
Because this is the holy
word.
Yeah.
The word. You can come read. And of course, he starts to read her, and she's immediately picking up on things and putting things together because she's a calculator.
Like, okay.
And he says, if you're this quick and you learn this easily, it's going to be a joy.
It's going to be fun to teach you.
Yeah. All of this he says with a straight face and not the hint of a smile. But that's the nature of his character. Like Benno. A lot like Benno.
Yeah.
Very
straight. Benno has way more
he's
expression
I would say he's a lot
shrewd.
more excited in his voice.
Yeah. And so the head priest comes in. She tells him,
the high priest?
High priest.
He comes in.
High priest comes in and they're talking, and she's like, no, I can't do it because I'm not only am I physically unable.
Yeah, I'm sickly.
I also have the devouring, to which they're like,
You have the what? Touch this.
One second.
Things get intense at this point. The high priest,
what the heck
the
is
high
happening?
priest gets up and does the dance, the worship dance.
Oh, he does.
Instantly.
I was gonna say, and then they take some purple cloth off of a chalice, which looks like the Holy Grail. Okay, from Indiana Jones, and sits it down in front of her.
Hurry!
Touch it right now. She's like, can I touch this? Yes, do it. And so she puts her hand on it. And it glows like purple. I would say like has the jewels on it light up.
Instantly.
Instantly goes sort of like
call your parents. We need to set up
No. Not call your parents. We'll come talk to your parents.
Yeah, we need to talk to them.
We're gonna come talk to them.
We need to talk to them now.
But they also dispelled all the rumors about the church in general, that it's not like the gray cloths are orphans.
Well, they don't tell her that. They tell her that every priestess that's here is not an orphan.
Some
There's
of them are
nobility.
Okay, so we'll get there.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the.
They leave out of there. The funniest part of the episode for me. Yeah, she's talking to Lutz.
He said, "Did you do something wrong again?"
She's running out to him because he dropped her off at the temple. And he's like, "Listen, don't." He was like, "I'll be back at 5 bells. Do not do anything crazy."
Yes.
Like,
that's what she then says. I mean, I don't know that I did something crazy, but I think I did something crazy.
I think I might have did something.
And he's like,
bad.
all right, well, we have to go see Mr. Benno now, and he told me to bring you, even if I had to grab you by your collar, to which he instantly grabs her collar
and drags her
off.
Yes. It was so funny.
It was.
Benno is so mad because he's like, start explaining.
I feel like he pinched her cheek. Like, what is wrong with you? Yeah. It was so funny.
Start at baptism and get me caught up to this day. He's like, you tell me what you've been doing, girl. Because because I know you.
And so she gives him like the whole full rundown on everything. And then he says, okay, here's what's going on. The history was there was a big war between probably like some revolution between like the commoners and the nobles.
He said there was some kind of coup.
Right.
So I'm not really certain. We don't really know if anything in terms of he said it had to do something with the ruling class, so like the nobles.
So yeah.
You know.
So basically, the nobles were fighting because there was a lack of, or there's a lower number of nobles currently that were in the church and outside of the church, I believe.
Yeah, and now they just drop off their unwanted spawn. The nobles do.
Yeah.
That's what he. That's kind of what he said. He said that the unwanted
said,
children, they give them to the church, and they're the blue.
They're the gray robes.
No, the blue robes are the nobles.
Those are the nobles' children that they don't want.
Yeah.
The nobles.
Okay.
The orphans are the gray robes.
Orphans are gray robes. Blue robes are noble orphans. Noble.
They're not orphans.
They're not orphans.
They're not orphans.
They still belong.
Yeah,
it's just that the parents don't want them at the house, I assume.
Right.
Or
like
in their
you're
company.
not. Yeah, like you're not doing anything with your life. Go join the church.
But the problem with that, in terms of where mine would come in, was in the fact that she would be a gray robe, and they work the gray robes to death without paying them. They do not pay them. They don't treat them well, and it's because they don't have parents to make connections for them so they can actually make a living.
Whatever the case.
That was the reason that they're.
And so he's explaining to her, but also he said the thing that's needed there is magic. Is the excess mana that you have, and he's like, when commoners have the devouring, they are excited.
Right. Yeah, because that means they can get that.
They can get that magic because they have been very, very low on having mana for the church, which I think does a lot of different.
It determines how big the harvest is going to be for the
year
city,
and everything else.
But and then what was crazy was mine's response. She was like, "What does mana have to do with this? Like what?" And he's like, "You don't know? What do you look?"
It's like, okay, like
commoners don't have a lot of magic. When they do, they get the devouring, and it makes nobles jealous. They get upset because they're like, "How dare you have magic as a commoner?"
Yeah,
you know that class.
The other thing is and this is where I said that everything is kind of like simple minded to her desires, because she expressed the full desire of, well, I just don't want to die to the devouring. I feel like they would be more apt to figure out ways, because immediately he's like, okay, but here's the skinny. They can handle your devouring and be able to take care of that. And you wouldn't have to, like, you might want to consider it. Like, this might be something that you kind of want to do.
Well, are you going to talk about what he says to do? Because he says that the problem with you is that you are not only a commoner with magic, you got money.
Yeah.
That's what makes you dangerous and makes you at risk.
The thing that he was also telling her that makes her triply dangerous in terms of what she needs to do, you need to set up things that allow you freedom, because magic contracts are law. Are not something you break.
Yeah.
So if you do this in advance, they can't control that, because that's not something that you'll be able to set up or sign away with.
You have a source outside of them, so that you have, I think, so that she could be stronger in terms of the negotiation when they do have that meeting.
So
and also he tells her you need connections to the outside.
Yes.
So you need people. You need to be able to still contact people.
Yes.
And something that I think he also that kind of was weird to me, not weird in the sense of Lutz's reaction later on when he was saying, hey, make the contract that you said with Lutz make an actual contract that he has to make all of the things that
you design.
Because she's talented, especially for this world. She has lots of modern ideas. And
so then they leave, and to end the episode, Lutz is like sad. He's in one of those moments, and they're holding hands, and he stops, and she asks him like, "Well, what's wrong?" And he says, "Well, I want to tell you, it would make me look lame."
Right.
And then he's like, "You liar! You said that we were gonna build these dreams together. You said that we were gonna make books, and we were gonna own a bookstore." And in my mind, I'm like, well, Benno solved all that somewhat in the beginning, in the sense that
not quite, because she couldn't physically be there to make the books. You know what I mean? And she can't physically run the bookstore.
He at least, the door is technically open. Your connection with her is still set in a way that it should be.
Well, I think that also sheds light on the fact that he wanted more than just I think that when this is me personally, you guys let me know what you think. I think that when he thinks about his future with mine and them running the bookstore, they are married. And they are doing this as a couple. Not as just friends.
I would agree.
I think that he's like, this is going to be the rest of our lives together.
I think he has definitely planned a life with her.
Yes.
Like it goes beyond business. You're a liar.
Yeah.
You told me you were going to be with me forever.
And that's what I was expecting from him.
But I think the struggle too for him is he wants her to live.
Yes.
And so
he realized then at that point that he realized
it,
because the thing was that Benno had told him, and I guess this is also a part. It was like, well, if you're gonna be a man about it. If you want to change this, then work hard so that way you can get the money to provide the things
that she's gonna need to survive.
Even at 7, that feeling of I can't do my job, like you still had to go and get it somewhere else.
Yes.
Right.
That was not me. And on top of that, if you know what our expectations are correct in terms of the priesthood and you not being able to marry once you're in the church, which is,
I mean, they might not be married. Yeah, you know, I mean, whatever.
Who knows?
But in their situation, they might not be married.
Yeah, we might learn different. I don't know.
We'll see, because there was definitely a big fat to be continued at the end of that. But I think that all of them end that way.
We also didn't touch on the fact that we learn more about Benno's backstory. He is a bachelor.
Oh,
Yes.
He and mine asked him like, why are you not married?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
aren't you?
we
You're
learned
rich.
that because there was this funny moment between Benno, Otto, and her dad, where Otto knows how her dad is because he stares at Otto. Or he's staring at Benno because mine is on his shoulders.
Right.
He's scared her like she's his daughter, and he's looking at him like, who is this dude?
And he's like, oh, Benno. Okay.
Yeah, you cool.
Y'all work together. I'm her dad.
I'm daddy. Me.
And then,
dad.
Not you.
And then Otto goes, man, Benno, you don't look like a bachelor with those two kids.
You look like such a dad right now. No. I'm her dad.
Benno's like, I'm Benno. Or whatever he said.
I'm single.
I'm single.
single.
He's like, I'm her dad.
Yeah.
And it makes this touching moment after that they're going to have even
But it
better.
also,
we get to see his connection to mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a great foreshadowing for the moment when he's sitting and he's talking to her about what she needs to do.
Yeah.
Because he wants the best for her.
Yes.
It's not just business. It's I care about you, kid. I want you to live.
Which his assistant Mark is like, actually what he's really saying is that he cares about you and he wants you to be safe. Just like, Mark,
why are you putting me on? And then she says, thank you, Mark. He's like, really? Wait a minute. Just Mark? What about me? But I was concerned too, because I mean, there's a good moment after he tells her what happened with the woman that he had wanted to marry, where we get a look at Lutz. And I was like, oh, please don't be foreshadowing for them. Because I feel like in that moment, Lutz was like, I ain't marrying nobody if I can't marry
if he
mine.
Can't
like,
have
if
mine,
I can't
he's
do it,
not.
I'm not doing
because Lutz is there for the story. And Benno's the love of his
and then
life.
she has this sweet moment with him where she rubs his hair. Like, I just
like,
felt like you need it. Because what he says to her is that there was someone I wanted to marry, but at the time I was taking care of my sister. Mm-hmm. And by the time I got her married to where she needed to be, the woman I loved died. And in my mind, I said that I'm not marrying anyone that is not better than her.
Yeah, he hadn't found
if they're not better than her, then I'm not marrying them.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it's just at the moment where she's rubbing his head and it's just sweet. Yeah. And it's just like, that is a huge thing in anime culture.
General, now, I won't just say anime culture, because head pats in general are a huge thing, it seems, in like Asian entertainment, because in Korea, in K-dramas, in like, you know, the Chinese dramas that I've seen, those head pats are serious. Like you get that from like
head
the people you love
and lap
head
pillows.
Pats. Yeah,
head pats,
are a big
lap
deal.
pillows are a big deal.
The man pats the girl's head, or even the girl will pat the man's head, and then the man,
or you'll pat the kid's head, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just
job.
like this. You did good, and it's not condescending.
No, it's very, it's comforting.
This really like
good job.
I think you might be right. It might be foreshadowing. Like,
I hope not, God. I hope not.
I think
at least the future desires.
But I thought that was really.
No,
really
I'm talking
good.
about mine not making it, and let's decide he's not ever going.
Yeah.
I could definitely see
I could see that being his decision
great,
if that happens. But I was like, oh God, don't let it happen like this.
Because he's finally like coming. They're like having these little conversations, and it's so cute. And it's so
innocent, and I love that. It's like they don't really. I think he knows what's going on in him.
He does. She has
to a level, but she's so like.
Well, because in the moments where she could have those realizations, she kind of pulls back because she pulls back to this logical sense of thinking, especially when they're having the conversation. She said verbatim that he stopped calling her mine.
Yeah.
He calls her mine.
Yeah.
Like all the time. Because
I mean, he did when he first was like, "Who are you?" He stopped calling.
Well, she said, what she said was that was the last day when they had that real conversation and had moved on for it. And it's like,
and then
what you more so meant is that for her that was the last day, and this is why I think the disconnect is that she was able to see him in the light, like, well, I'm not your mind, so you don't think of me in any other way,
right?
And so it removes her to even be able to realize the thoughts and things that he does, because everybody is just taking care of her.
Our natural tendency is to trust our narrator, but sometimes our narrator is not
unreliable. They're unreliable.
So they're quite often they are. But our natural tendency is to just whatever they tell us.
We gotta believe it because we're not in. We don't know anything about this world until they show us.
We know all about the world. Read the Hunger Games. Katniss is trash.
Would you stop?
All right.
Would you stop? Would you stop?
Back.
We understand that was a traumatic incident.
So
back to Ascendance of a Bookworm.
How did you feel about these particular episodes? Do they do anything for you in terms of like deepening your relationship with the characters, that sort of thing?
Absolutely. I think I really have come to a realization that our view of the world that she's living in is so limited. And every episode we get more glimpses from adults and just different people. We get different perspective. And so that makes the world bigger for us and gives us a better understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
There are two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. And I think we're still searching for what is the truth? Yeah, what is the truth? But I thoroughly enjoy the episodes, and it's like, I know it's to be continued, but what?
So how does your experience with this? I don't think we've asked this question before. How does your experience with this so far measure up to like your experiences that you had with like cartoons as a kid? Like, as an adult looking at it now, do you feel like this is so juvenile, or do you feel like they're dealing with issues that, you as a child would have enjoyed? Would you watch this with your children? Or
I'm sure I would, but as an adult, you get a completely different perspective.
Exactly.
Because when I go back and watch cartoons that we watched as a child, I was looking at it from a child's brain.
Exactly.
And so I'm like, oh, this is funny, hilarious.
They was talking about some.
But then when I go back and watch them as an adult, I'm like, wait, what? This is real. Like, why?
Really
why was
bad.
I watching this?
Exactly.
Why did I have this?
Like, why was this
a thing? This is not appropriate.
Knowledge changes things.
Yes, it does.
It does remove innocence.
Well, yeah, Disney movies I think did more in general to like, this is what death is, kids.
Yes.
Not only death, but unhealthy relationships.
Yes.
Well, yeah, any of that.
Abundant.
But I think that was one thing that at least for a while, I think it can still kind of be said true now, but at the time they were very like family entertainment was a big deal.
Right.
Like it was very good about giving the children what they need, but they knew the adults had to sit there and watch it too. So we want you to be equally entertained with things that are going to reach you. And I think that's,
Well, I also think that it was more like we're going to entertain the adults, but then what we do is we dress it up and we present it to you. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Couldn't you raise yourself? Raise your arms up. That's what the old people say. Do the worship dance that they were doing.
Yes, put your leg up. You'll
now Cowtown.
But you were saying
in a way that and then they just dressed it up.
Are you talking about the anime, or are you talking about family entertainment before?
Family entertainment in general. And then they just dressed it up with the bells and whistles that kids would find entertaining. Because if you look at each of those stories, no matter what it is, whether it's Inside Out, Soul, we recently watched.
Oh, you watched it too?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
I liked it.
I did
the themes in those two things juxtaposed to one another is one is like, are the memories that I have of this place now going to be gone because I'm somewhere new? or my new experience is going to be something that's great. And that's everybody. You know, we can picture it to when we were kids, moving to a new house, going to a new school, new classroom, whatever it is. Same thing with soul is, are you living life in search of your dream? Are you trying to live in a perfect vision of your dream?
I think that's one of the things that I say is I'm probably wrong about saying this. So I'll preface this statement by saying I'm probably wrong. Okay. But in my experience, I feel like finding cartoons, at least that deal with bigger issues, and I mean cartoon shows, not movies, because what we just mentioned were movies. Okay,
True,
but talking about cartoon shows that, I'm just drawing a difference here. Cartoon shows that deal with things that kind of make you think about the world around you in a deeper way. Mm-hmm. I find that more in anime than I do in regular cartoons. There are a few cartoon shows that I've seen, like, you know, growing up and stuff, that still made me think about bigger issues, like, you know, racism and stuff like that.
Specials.
Well, sometimes, but I think that the difference, because I mean, X-Men was great. The X-Men came across with some 90s X-Men. They had some heavy hitter moments, but it was moments.
And that's what I'm saying. It's moments, but it's like, that's what I meant by specials and movies.
You know, I mean, those are
the Hey Arnold movie about his parents, and I think that's finally like finding out why he's living with his grandfather in this apartment building with all these different people, is because your parents were zoologists and they died on a trip. Yeah.
And I mean, I never knew that. And that's what I'm saying. I think in movies they have an opportunity, and they use the opportunity to really flesh out and get to the deeper themes that they're wanting to do, or that they kind of set up or hint at in the shows. But a lot of times I think we cop out in terms of the writing, and the shows are more after school, especially, you know, like generic messaging. Whereas something like this, you know, Ascendance of Bookworm makes you think about a lot of different things. It makes you think about, like, you know, utilizing everything around you, how other people used to live, how you connect to the people. I mean, it makes you think about, you know, a lot of stuff, family.
Well, the
versus
medium
money
is more of a medium. It's not like for us in America, cartoons are more, this is the kids thing. This is something I throw on so you don't have to bother me or whatever. Whereas in Japan, anime is this a medium, like I said. So if I want to tell a story, I can use this. Yeah, I can use this episodically or whatever the case. It's more of a serious job, and they kind of like build from that place, and it's amazing to me to have that kind of medium where there isn't a limit for you. Like a beautifully depicted painting or artistry of something can give you these life lessons, the same way that like friendship is a huge thing. In most shonen animes, like even if it's about this battle thing, there's the friendships, the loyalties, the bonds. It might not be deep on the relationship tip, but they have that, and they have relationships.
Even the relationship tip is deep, because even if it's unrequited love, it's deep. Okay, this stuff runs deep. But what do you think, Bree?
I think everything you guys said is relevant and true. I've been trying to think of a cartoon series that I feel like that hits the real issues. I can't think of one.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the ultimate thing they get there, like learning about Adventure Time, for example.
A cartoon show that hit the hard issues. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The Magic School Bus.
Heck yes. They take you in the body. They teach you stuff. Come on now.
I literally have been sitting over here thinking like,
the Magic School Bus, no lie.
Cartoon shows
there were a lot of different things.
And they tackle certain social issues and stuff like that. But like you said, it was kind of like a special.
Like just trying to talk about the moments that cartoonists here are willing to take risks and explore things. Yeah. And it's really only in movies, like even the first Rugrats movie, in exploring what it is to be a big brother.
You've been dropping real knowledge. Like I didn't know about Hey Arnold's backstory. I knew none of that. Yeah. So you're teaching me.
But these are things, but they're specials. So it wouldn't have, but it's a special. It wouldn't even be something that
Senpai.
But it was a special, so it wouldn't even be something that would like you'd catch from just catching like 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
It's something that they built up to.
Yes.
Because it's this answer that you think about, but you don't really think about. And they have more time to explore it because, well, for them in their brains, 30 minutes is not enough time, but which we've kind of, has already been disproved.
It's very good. In less than 25 minutes.
But you have all of these things, even, the things that we don't notice about Doug, for instance, Patty's dad being paraplegic, the fact that, like these are little small things that they have black. Throughout. The Skeeter's black. Patty's.
That his best friend is black.
Yeah.
You're really deep into it, and I can appreciate it. I would say anime has been they hit on the meat.
And the heartstrings.
The meat and the heart. But I would let my kid watch Ascendance of a Bookworm. I don't think they would. I think they would think it was just cute and funny and because she's a little girl and he's a little boy and they're out in the forest and they're building stuff.
And they have stuff that is still for kids. It's just 100%. Like I said, it's a medium versus it being cartoons are for kids.
Right.
In the same way that
I'm sure that's a lot of people's reluctance, adults, to watch anime because it's a cartoon. Yeah. But it's
I think that good books can change your life. I think that good movies can change your life, and I think that good anime good stuff, good well-produced
good
things
stories
in general,
will change your life.
Yes, that's what I'm
good stories
in
general will change your life, and you can find good stories in anime. There's a lot of moments that I've cried at in watching anime because the stories.
When's the last time you cried watching anime? Teach me, senpai. You?
It would have been
when I saw the finale of what is it from the Made in Abyss.
Did you cry?
No.
When I watched the first one, I don't know that I cried watching Made in Abyss. I mean, I was at work, so I was like, it was at my old job, so I probably had a certain level of emotion. But I cried 2019.
You remember the year?
Well, just because last year was crap.
Yeah.
We skip right over that.
So I was watching Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, and I talked about this, and it was such a good story. And I never expected the way that they flipped this ending, because initially they kind of give it to you in this way that it's about this one relationship.
You trusted the narrator, didn't you?
Listen, there was no narrator. Oh. This was just I trusted the story that was presented while they were holding on to they showed you the thing that they are going to make you cry with in the beginning.
And you just didn't even know it.
But you're like, oh, this is about relationships. Oh, it is about relationships. Oh my God. It's about this relationship. And oh my God. I swear, I guarantee it. You'll cry.
Okay.
And if you don't cry, you'll at least be
and I think that's the thing about it. They got ranges, okay? They got their smut. They got their action.
Everybody has their smut.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They got their smut, they got their action, and they got that good stuff. That
porn doesn't
stuff.
discount from the great degree of Grey's Anatomy, and no one allows it to. So I don't think they should do the same thing.
There's porn in Grey's Anatomy.
No, I'm saying
I was just like, I don't remember that. I haven't watched it. I don't watch it.
No, I'm just saying the smut in anime doesn't.
It's like soft
core.
Yes. Okay. I mean, all of primetime TV has soft. Yeah. There's lots of.
We probably should have warned the children that we were going to say that.
Listen, I've already said a curse word to
this
episode. So.
Lots of, that's the world today. Can't watch TV without seeing.
Until you get to the Electric
can't stop
Diva
seeing
Studios
some of that.
All right.
Then you will be able to watch TV without, or watch whatever, your computer screen or your phone.
So we're we were a little bit off with that. But I do want to tell you guys.
For sex?
Okay.
Before we...
They may change clothes.
To shower.
Before we wrap this lovely episode that we've given you guys today. This extended episode that we've given you today, because we were just...
2 episodes. It was 2 episodes in one.
Basically. That's why. To start the year off.
Yeah. We're coming back giving you that wow.
So, with that, I do want to say, always make sure that you go to BibleStudyGirl.com.
Oh, yes.
Where if you're looking for something a little bit deeper, if you're looking for a different walk with yourself, You get blog posts every day there. There's a podcast that I executive produce as well. And it's an amazing content that you should seek and engage with. Engage with is what I'm trying to say. They have a Facebook. There's an Instagram. It's _ BibleStudyGirl. There's Twitter, BibleStudyGirl 2. And you can even email them just for different conversations at BibleStudyGirl 2019. But the other thing that I wanted to make sure that you guys know that I wanted to offer to you guys is, as Prima Diva said, Electric Diva Studios is an amazing content creator for faith-based content. So if you are looking for that, if you are looking to make a mark and be something new, to not give these same cookie cutter Tyler Perry movies,
go to the Facebook.
Go to the Facebook.
Electric Diva Studios.
And that's no shade out there, but you get what I'm saying in terms
just
of
something different.
Like something different. If you want to explore more of what your walk and things are like, check that out. I guarantee these are all great products. We're going to be doing way more promotions that'll help you guys. Things that we do for us are the things that we wish to do for you. So do your thing.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can get us on Twitter at Gray Area Anime 1. You can get us on Instagram and Facebook at Gray Area Anime. And if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or you want to come on the show, please get at us at grayareaanime@gmail.com.
Thank you guys. Until next time, a 1 and a 2 and a peace.